Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. Today we're going to bust some scraps, and I actually think we're going to bust quite a few scraps, which is so much fun. As you can see, we are going to start out with longer strips. They're not cut to a specific width, but approximately 1 inch is my thought on that. And what we're going to make, get that out of the way, is this, which is a master board of strips that are angled. And I'm going to just show you most of you should know how to make a master board, just glue paper down and done. But I'm going to show you a couple quick hints on this to make it easy to do this kind of version. But let's see if we can cut this up first and show you how cute these would be it's going to fit in there, to make into cards or pockets or something like that. This is going to fit. Okay, so this was a standard piece of copy paper, so 8.5 by 11. So if this is 11, we divide by 3.5. 3.5 is 7 and 4. That'll work. All right. So we're going to cut the first one at 4. And then I'm just going to cut them in half. And then we're going to cut it at 3.5. So they're going to be tags, small journal cards, something like that. And then we'll just cut them in half. So these were 8.5, so 4.25. 4.25. Now obviously you could start with 12 by 12 sheets. I just wanted to start out with little smaller ones just because it's a little quicker to show you how to do them. But 12 by 12 is a great one to start to do master boards or anything, a book, any kind of paper you got laying around. Okay, so let's see how cute these are when all is said and done. All right, so very fun. Little angles on the bottom. This could go this way, or obviously could go this way. I like that with just a little shoot. Very fun. This one is pretty much all just going one direction, but I love it. This one's great. This one's got all different directions going on there. I love it. And this one, very cool. So as you can see, so much fun to make, and how easy this would be to decorate, put a focal point, a bird, a flower, something on there. Like how fun it would be to put something on there like that, right? I'm not going to put this on there right now because I'm going to show you the whole purpose of the video is some quick hints to make the sheets. So let me put these away. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a copier sheet of paper. It's actually really thin. A little thicker would probably not be the worst thing in the world. These are fairly thin cards, so if I wanted to make them a little sturdier, I would need to go back and maybe put some sort of tea dye paper in the back, coffee dye, cardstock, something like that, just to make another layer to make it a little thicker. But this is the one that I had sitting by, so we are going to go with this. Okay, so the first thing I did was I just randomly took a piece of paper and I folded it at an angle. And that is going to give me a straight line for my first piece. Now you need to find a long one to start with that will fit. So we're going to go with that. And some glue. And I just used my glue stick. Nothing fancy. I probably could have used my art glitter, but I didn't have any problem gluing these down with this. Just making sure I get it on all the pieces. And do my best to line it up. Now it doesn't have to be exactly perfect because it is, oops, but I do need to make sure it goes over the paper. Over that one end. There we go. And over that end. Beautiful. So we are just establishing the diagonal that way. Now, the next one I did was I made a diagonal go a different direction. Now, if this is cut straight, I'm going to assume this is cut straight, and I'm going to use that as a guide to keep that at a good angle. And this paper's really kind of been folded and crinkled, and I think it'll still work. It'll get glued down. without a problem. So we're gonna go make like a T right there, butt it up to that, and leave some space. All right, so the next one we're gonna do is we are going to divide this one again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it about halfway through. These are going to go this way, and then I'm going to have more sheets going that way. So I hope you can see kind of like the thought frame behind this. There's no right or wrong which way you put it, which way you start it, how far apart you do it. You're just giving yourself some boundaries of where you want to do it. All right, so these are going to have a couple strips in here. We're going to have a couple strips going that way. And for this one, we'd have a couple strips going this way, and then maybe start some more coming this way. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a piece, and I'm going to put it right there, right at the corner. So I have like 2 sheets going there, and the rest is going to come this way. This was a hand-dyed, or hand, it's not a digital or scrapbook paper, it was inked, run off ink or something, and I did not go down far enough. All right, I'm going to actually put a little longer, leave a few more going that way. I'm not worried about the ends sticking off because they're going to get cut later. All right, so these are going to go this way, a couple this way, a couple this way, a couple this way. So for here, I'm going to, let's see, put a couple more that way. I might just keep doing them this way. That one's going to have to go there. That's the only not the problem that I found out, but the only caveat I had was certain pieces that are not long enough can only go so far. And that's where, all right, so I might want to do that. Have a couple short pieces that way and a couple long. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right. All right, that would be fun there. Let's put that there. And then that'll go that way, and those will go along. Yep, let's do that. So it really is kind of trial and error, trial by fire. You just make it work and go from there. All right, so now that I've got the, I don't know what to call bones of it, we just go ahead and fill it in and how we decided to do them. So, like I said, we decided we wanted to put these going this way. So we're just going to find some papers, and we're going to put them in and just fill it in. Now, I did try to not really overlap them. I tried to put them butted up, but I'll show you one thing that's going to happen here in this last piece. This is going to have to go over there. Yeah, I think I'll do that one. Change my sheet here in a second. All right, so we're going to put that, we're going to butt that one up and butt that up there. All right, so this one's really skinny, thin, but for this last one, I'm going to put it on top and cover both sheets. Let's go with that. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. But as you can see, like I said, this is a great way to get rid of a whole bunch of scraps. Bust some scraps. Try to do it as straight as I can. Feel a bit of glue on top of that one. I moved it. There we go. All right, not too bad. I thought maybe I got a little crooked, but I think it's okay because it's lined up fairly well to that one. All right, so let's go and just keep going. Now, I didn't really pay attention to if they're upside down, sideways, words were different, because since it's a master board and it is meant to go different directions, you don't know what it's going to go. On the journal card, it'll can go up, down, it can go any direction. And then on top of that, once you use it for something and you put you get a little glue there eventually, when you put a focal point down, you might not notice that those words go that way, those words go that way, or you could try to orientate it to make it work. Okay, was I going to put you there? I think I was going to put you there. Yeah, that'll work. New paper. There we go. And glue. I love making master boards. I think they're fun. I always love the reveal after it's cut, because I'm always amazed with, you know, you can be putting these weird papers together, and when you cut it down and it gets kind of focalized, it's amazing how they go together. All right, let's do something. You're gonna have to go that way. Do something a little bit longer, not long enough. Oh, that'll work. And you are wider. Should cover up both pieces. I was afraid I didn't have to put two there, but I think this one's gonna be okay. Well, this one's a little bit thicker. Make sure I got enough glue on this. This was from a book that I fussy cut stuff out, and the backs of the page were sheets of paper. Okay, pretty well glued down. I seem to have a lot of greens in this one, and I did not intend it to be that way necessarily. But that's the other thing. If you want it to be, I don't know what that noise was. If you wanted to go into a specific journal or something, or make specific colored cards, and you're going to go ahead and pull papers that all match. One more. That's probably a good idea. I'm just going to tear that in half because I'm not going to use all of it. So you can color coordinate the page, or you can do like this and just grab random pieces and hope for the best. But usually the best. Oh, one more, a little angle there. Usually the best is not too hard to do. How about some, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, I think you kind of got the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm just going to finish, like I said, just keep going on this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to keep filming this, but I'm going to, when I edit it down, speed it up, and I will see you on the end when all is done. All right, I am done gluing. I have a handful of strips left, and all I pretty much have left to do is trim this down so that it is back to the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And I'm gonna, since this is kind of all over the place and hard to get into some sort of cutting machine, I'm gonna flip it over and cut it by hand. Oops, got a piece stuck. All right. Now some of these pieces I'll be able to save for future projects, but a lot of them are going to end up being tiny, and I'm throwing them away. Gonna make the executive decision to throw them away. So we're gonna do our best just to cut it, follow the sheet of paper. Like I said, this one I'll keep, that one I'll keep, and we'll keep that one. But these I'm getting rid of. Now, could they be used for something? For sure. Do I have too much scraps? For sure. Yeah, most of these are going to be history. And last side. Piece got stuck. Yeah, the glue, it got gluey. It got messy. I'm gonna have to clean off my desk. I probably should have put something down to glue. It's hard to, you know, you're taking the strip and you're gluing as far as you think you do, but a lot of it's gonna overhang, so it stays on there pretty good. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna toss the rest of these. And there we are. Not too bad. Now, while I was fast forwarding, I did have a bit of an issue. One of these lines ended up, I don't know if it was cut wrong, or I think it was this one. It's kind of, you can see it was cut wrong, like the lines there, but it was cattywonk. So by the time the next one got out, it was a little more cattywonk, and the top pieces that were up here were all jagged. So I just took one smaller piece and I laid it across the top to cover the raw edges. Now, if you don't like these raw edges, you could definitely add some, you know, washi tape across these before you cut them, just to give it a bit of a finished look. You technically could, after you did like all those, then go to kind of like I did and put one on there and cover it all up to make it much cleaner looking. It does raise that area a little bit, so this was a thin piece of paper, so I was okay with using it for that. But again, by the time you go and cut these down to smaller journal size cards, and then you go throw a focal point on there, you probably won't even notice if these lines are off or anything. So let's go ahead and cut this batch down. And I think I'll do the same because those were nice divisions. So we're going to start with 4-inch, if I recall correctly. It was 4 and then 3.5. Might be still a little wet. I let the other one dry a little longer, but hopefully this machine is gonna cooperate. All right, and then 4 1/4. Now, when you cut those, I don't know if I mentioned before, when you cut these, the part that's now near the end that wasn't, might lift off a little bit because it's not connected to the other side. So you might have to go back and do a little maintenance on some of the edges and glue them down. All right, let's take a look. Very cute. That's probably going to fall off. It's very tiny. That's very tiny, but I love that one. That's awesome. This one is so much fun with the flowers. I like that one too. That was very random. I love this one. Numbers in the middle. And this one, I'm not a fan of this piece of paper. It was digital for ledger, and you can barely see the line. So it almost looks like I made a mistake and didn't put anything on there. So I might go back and I'm gonna go to use this throw some washi tape or something in there just to cover it up. But otherwise, how fun are those? And with 2 simple sheets of scrapbook or copy paper, I now have 12 new journal cards that I should be able to have fun and decorate on. I love it. Let me see if I can grab some stuff and put it together, and let's decorate one of these. Okay, so I took that card, I did back it with something else just to give it a little bit more strength, and I pulled together a couple things that I decided I want to put on there. I do have some of my printed tickets that I did with the, not coffee dyed, the dyed papers that I made, and I have one of my mini stamps that's a freebie on my Ko-fi account. I thought would be fun, and of course one of those pretty flowers. So I'm thinking put the flower there and have the ticket behind it because it's see-through, and then put the stamp up in the corner. Yeah, I like it. And then it'll be done. I did round the corners as well as inked the outside of it while I was gone. And I decided I wanted to put this pink one there just to bring a little bit more pink on there. Covered up a little bit of the darker colors that were in the corner. There's a lot of these same colors in there, so I thought it was fun to do that. Just want to leave enough room for that and put it down. I also did cut this flower was a little longer. I did cut the bottom off just so it fit better on the card before I even decided to put it on. All right, so we're going to start with folding this back just so I can put it on and then pull the paper off. All right, so it's going to go, we're going to put it to the bottom. Ish. And then flop it on up. All right, make sure it is good and stuck to that. Very cute. And we'll just put a little glue on the back of this. Paper's not too thick, so I don't need the art. And we're just gonna put it on a little bit of a turn. And there we go. That is super cute. I like it a lot. I like that pink that goes with it. The words. I love it. Yeah, so a simple master board with some strips of paper, scrap paper, is now a fun journal card. And look at how many more fun journal cards I have. I love it. Okay, well, I think that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you like the idea and are going to make some scrap busting, bust to scrap master boards using slanted strips. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear if you have decided to make this idea. It's probably not a new idea. I'm sure someone else has slanted these pieces. I have done the straight ones before, and that's why I wanted to make it just a little bit more fun and a little bit more different. So that's why I decided to go with that. This could probably use a little bit of a boo-boo tape on the bottom. I'll do that later. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so thumbs up if you like it. Any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I love chatting with you guys and hearing what you've decided to make, how this maybe inspired you to do something. I mean, it could inspire you to do something completely different. You might think, oh, I could do that, but, you know, totally put, you know, triangles down or something like that. I've seen that version too. So yeah, I love it. Okay, well, that is going to be it for today's Bust a Scrap video. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.